In the world of cyber scams, few names evoke as much awe and disbelief as Hushpuppy, a mastermind who orchestrated scams of an unimaginable scale. Let's try to grasp the enormity of Hushpuppy's operations. Imagine an intricate web spun across the globe, ensnaring unsuspecting victims and draining their financial resources. Hushpuppy's operations were just that, only much more sophisticated and far-reaching. The victims of his scams were not counted in tens or hundreds, but in thousands. From the small business owner in Sydney to the retired teacher in Toronto, from the tech entrepreneur in Tokyo to the oil tycoon in Oslo, Hushpuppy's scams knew no boundaries, geographical or otherwise. His victims were scattered across continents, their combined financial losses estimated to be in the billions. But how did one man manage such a large-scale operation? The answer lies in the sophistication of his methods. Hushpuppy was no ordinary scammer. He was a maestro of manipulation, a puppeteer pulling the strings of advanced hacking techniques, social engineering, and a vast network of accomplices. His operations were as intricate as they were ruthless. He would identify potential victims, study their online behavior, and then tailor his approach to exploit their vulnerabilities. His scams were not blunt instruments, but finely tuned machines, each carefully calibrated to extract the maximum possible gain from its target. And let's not forget his network of accomplices. Hushpuppy was not a lone wolf, but the kingpin of a syndicate that spanned continents. His accomplices played a critical role in his operations, helping him launder money, create fake identities, and maintain his web of deceit. In the world of cybercrime, Hushpuppy was a titan. His operations were a testament to the devastating potential of cyber scams. A chilling reminder of what can happen when technology is wielded with malicious intent. With operations spanning continents and victims numbering in the thousands, Hushpuppy's scams were nothing short of a global menace. Behind the notorious cybercriminal moniker, Hushpuppy began his journey in a humble neighborhood in Lagos, Nigeria. His story, like many, is one of resilience and survival, a tale etched in the harsh realities of life. Born into a world where the daily struggle for survival was the norm, Hushpuppy's early years were marred by poverty and hardship. The narrow, bustling streets of Lagos were his playground, the city's vibrant chaos his formative environment. In this urban jungle, he learned to navigate life's challenges, honing skills that would later become his weapons in the world of cybercrime. While many in his situation might have succumbed to despair, Hushpuppy displayed an uncanny resilience. This was a young man who, despite his circumstances, refused to accept the hand life had dealt him. It was during these formative years that he was first exposed to the underbelly of Lagos, the world of scams, a dark universe that offered a way out of his dire circumstances. Quick to comprehend the intricate workings of these scams, Hushpuppy demonstrated a sharp intellect and a cunning mind, traits that would serve him well in his future endeavors. His intelligence, coupled with a keen understanding of human psychology, allowed him to rise swiftly through the ranks. He was no longer just another face in the crowd. He was becoming a master manipulator, a puppeteer pulling at the strings of unsuspecting victims. In the grimy, crowded streets of Lagos, where aspirations often wither away, Hushpuppy was carving out a path for himself, albeit a dangerous and illegal one. He was not content with merely surviving. He wanted more, a desire that would eventually lead him down a perilous road. From the streets of Lagos, Hushpuppy was setting the stage for a life that would eventually shock the world. As Hushpuppy honed his skills, his scams grew in sophistication and audacity. Whisking away from petty frauds, Hushpuppy embarked on a journey into the high-stakes world of elaborate schemes. His modus operandi was no longer confined to simple trickery. Instead, he began to weave intricate webs of deception involving fake business deals and identity theft. One of his most notorious scams involved a fictitious oil refinery. Posing as a high-powered executive, Hushpuppy convinced a multinational corporation that he was selling an oil refinery. The illusion was so well crafted that the corporation transferred millions into his accounts, only to find out that the refinery never existed. In another audacious move, Hushpuppy delved into the darker side of cyberspace, capitalizing on hacking. With a team of skilled hackers, he infiltrated countless email accounts, stealing sensitive information and using it to his advantage. He would impersonate business partners requesting wire transfers, and before anyone could realize the deception, Hushpuppy was richer by a few more millions. But it wasn't just the scams that made Hushpuppy infamous. It was his flamboyant lifestyle, which he unabashedly flaunted on social media. His Instagram was a testament to his ill-gotten wealth, filled with photos of him draped in designer clothes, driving luxury cars and jet-setting around the world. His followers were none the wiser, mesmerized by the opulence that Hushpuppy displayed. He lived a life of excessive luxury, funded by the misfortunes of his victims. Lavish parties, expensive champagne, and high-stakes gambling became his trademarks. He reveled in the spotlight, basking in the adoration of his followers and seemingly untouchable by the law. However, unbeknownst to his admirers, each photo, each video, each post was a breadcrumb leading authorities closer to his true identity. His love for the limelight was slowly but surely becoming his downfall. Hushpuppy was not just rising, he was skyrocketing, leaving a trail of victims in his wake. But as the saying goes, the higher you fly, the harder you fall. And for Hushpuppy, the fall was imminent. As Hushpuppy reveled in his ill-gotten wealth, flaunting his luxurious lifestyle on social media for all to see, the world took notice. Law enforcement agencies around the globe, including the FBI and Interpol, had been tracking his activities, gathering evidence of his fraudulent schemes. The ostentatious display of wealth, the flashy cars, the designer clothes. It was all a beacon, drawing attention to his shady operations. Hushpuppy's downfall was set into motion when he started to become careless. He was living large, but he left a trail of breadcrumbs that investigative agencies were keen to follow. His lavish spending habits, his incessant need to show off his wealth, and his audacious disregard for the law all contributed to his undoing. The fateful day arrived in June 2020 in Dubai, a city he had made his playground. A joint operation by the Emirati, American and Nigerian authorities led to his arrest. The charges were severe: conspiracy to commit wire fraud, money laundering, and aggravated identity theft. The magnitude of his crimes was so enormous that he was extradited to the United States to face justice. In the courtroom, his flamboyant demeanor was replaced with a somber expression. Gone were the flashy clothes and the diamond-studded watches. Instead, he sat in a plain prison jumpsuit, his future hanging in the balance. The man who had once boasted of his wealth and power was now at the mercy of the law. His arrest sent shockwaves around the world, particularly in the cybersecurity community. It served as a stark reminder that no matter how high one might rise through illegal means, justice eventually catches up. In a twist of fate, the flamboyant scammer found himself in handcuffs, his empire of scams crumbling around him. The tale of Hushpuppy serves as a stark reminder of the dark side of the digital world we inhabit. The ripple effect of Hushpuppy's scams was felt far and wide. The financial losses were massive, but the human cost was even more devastating. Lives were turned upside down and dreams were shattered. The scams didn't just rob people of their hard-earned money, they stole their peace of mind, their faith in humanity, and their trust in the digital realm. The victims of Hushpuppy's scams came from all walks of life. Some were small business owners struggling to keep their enterprises afloat. Others were retirees who had worked their entire lives to secure a comfortable future. Then there were the young and naive, who were just starting their financial journey. All were lured by the promise of a better life, only to find themselves in a financial abyss. But the impact of Hushpuppy's scams wasn't just personal, it was societal. It led to an erosion of trust in online transactions, a fear of digital platforms. People became wary, suspicious. Every email, every transaction was scrutinized. The digital world, once seen as a realm of endless possibilities, was now viewed with a tinge of fear and skepticism. Yet from this dark chapter there are lessons to be gleaned. The saga of Hushpuppy underscores the importance of cybersecurity. It highlights the need for vigilance in the digital world, the necessity of being skeptical of too good to be true offers. It reminds us that not all that glitters in the digital world is gold. It's a call to action for everyone, individuals, businesses and governments alike, to prioritize cybersecurity, to invest in education, to promote safe digital practices, to create robust systems that can withstand the onslaught of cybercriminals. In the end, Hushpuppy's story is a cautionary tale, a stark warning to us all about the dangers lurking in the shadows of the digital world. It's a reminder that while the digital world offers us unparalleled opportunities, it also presents unique challenges, and it's up to us to navigate these challenges to ensure that the digital world remains a safe space for all.
He couldn't wait to make some legendary posts on the gram. One such post said, "Started out my day having sushi down at Nobu in Monte Carlo, Monaco, then decided to book a helicopter to have facials at the Christian Dior spa in Paris, then ended my day having champagne in Gucci." Then he proceeded to tag posts with hashtag #AllMine and stand with a number of Bentleys, Mercedes, Ferraris, and Rolls Royces. But right there for all to see was some very key information. He had his email and phone number saved to his Instagram. And when our boys here at the Bureau did a little digging, we were able to link it to financial transactions and transfers known to be associated with co-conspirators. To quote our affidavit, the email account also contained emails with attachments relating to wire transfers in large dollar values. Well, one post had a picture of his birthday cake, and it had a Fendi logo on top. Our investigators were able to verify his date of birth from a previous US visa application. We had all we needed. July 2nd, 2020, we made our move. Our buddies at the United Arab Emirates went straight to his Dubai apartment and instantly captured Mr. Ramon Hushpuppy Abbas. From Dubai, they sent him to us, and now our agents have him secured away at the Metropolitan Correction Center in Chicago. After his arrest, we seized his assets, almost $41 million in cash, as well as 13 top-of-the-line luxury vehicles that came to a total worth of $6.8 million, were now in the hands of the FBI. Sorry, Ramon. You didn't earn it legally. The next step for Hushpuppy? Well, this cybercriminal will be transferred to Los Angeles, and if he is convicted, he should be put away for a very, very long time. Money laundering is a serious offense, and when it's in the millions of dollars, it's even